Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Leadership Project with your host Mick Spiers. We bring you thought-provoking guests and topics every week to challenge your thinking about leadership. Our aim is to help you become the leader that you wish you always had as we learn together and lead together. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Leadership Project. I've got a real treat for you today. I'm going to be joined by my dear wife, Sei, or Therese Spiers, as many of you would know her from LinkedIn and the thought leadership that she does there. We are excited to share this episode with you. It's a little bit of a celebration and a marked occasion because we are now 150 episodes into the show and we've been on this journey together. So today we're going to unpack a little bit about how Sei feels about that journey and what she's learnt along the way. So Sei, without any further ado, thank you so much for joining me today. We are now 3 years in with the Leadership Project podcast. We're deep into season 4, more than 150 episodes published. How do you feel about the journey that we've been on?
All right. Thank you so much, Me, for having me in the show. And thank you again. Anyway, I feel so amazing on doing the Leadership Project podcast for 3 years. We've already, almost quit, but here we are now. All of the things that happened with us. And then thank you so much again for doing this with me. It's been a long plan on doing this podcast. I feel so anxious and nervous about something else. My hands are freaking sweaty. But anyway, I'm going to be here.
No need to be anxious. You are a wonderful communicator, Sei. Just relax and be yourself and this is going to be fine. Now, you did say that it hasn't all been smooth sailing. There are times that we almost stopped. What did you learn from that?
One of the learnings that I've learned for the whole time that we've been here is listening to each other. Because we are listening to the words, but not listening to the thought of those words or phrases. It's like confirmation bias, like something else that, okay, you listen, and then you need to confirm if you really listen the words. The second one is to be vulnerable. Like if something's happened with the business and with you, you really need to let me know on something else, or I'm going to let you know on something else because this business is not going to work if we don't have much communication.
So it's been a big lesson learnt for me as well, Sei. So around the confirmation bias, about catching times where I've only been hearing what I want to hear and I haven't been hearing the things that contradict what I want to hear. And if we're not doing that check-in with each other, that's really important. And the second part is the openness. The openness to say, yeah, I'm struggling with this aspect right now. We're a partnership. We're a great team, by the way, and we've come through this stronger and more resilient, but we need to be able to be open with each other in all aspects of the podcast, of our life, of our family, to be really open with each other and make sure that we're sharing. And then when we're listening, to make sure that we're caring, and we're caring to make sure that we understand what's really being said. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, it's true, Mick. And then additional ones, it's about the communication with each other. Many people or many couples, are failing to do this business or even their relationship because they're not listening to that thought or phrase. It means the confirmation bias that we're talking about. Am I right about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm guilty of it. I'm sitting here. I teach people about leadership. I teach about listening, but I'm a human being too. I make mistakes, and I've certainly made this mistake with you a few times. And I'm looking to learn from that and get stronger and not give up. Just go, okay, yep, I'm owning it, having the accountability to say, yeah, I stuffed up, and then doing something about it, taking action.
Yeah. And I think what I've learned as well with you, or the way we've been talking to each other, it's because, okay, I am the wife and you are the principal and founder of our organization or our company. It's like whatever you say to us, it's going to be you. But of course, you've learned about that anyway. On those previous years, it's like, okay, you are listening to me, but there's something else that you wanted to listen or hear about those words. But anyway, I'm very proud of what you have become for those couple of years, especially last year and then this year. Although we are only on the February month, I'm very proud of what you have become on those things. Because if you didn't listen to me, or me as well, we're not going to be able to have the leadership project already.
I'm a human being and I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot in this time, and thank you. Thank you for always being there for me. You're far more than just my wife. You're my partner. You're my partner in everything. And I got myself into a cycle where I was only hearing what I wanted to hear. It's like an echo chamber of what I wanted to hear rather than what you were really trying to tell me. So, and thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your resilience. And here we are, season 4, 150 episodes, loving every moment. And thank you. I'll always be grateful for everything that you've done for TLP, for me, for our family, for our whole team. Thank you so much. I'm curious to know, on that TLP journey, who's been your favourite guest?
Okay, I don't want to be biased, so I'm just going to say that I don't have favorite guest. Because if I'm going to say I do have favorites, I'm going to say, oh my God, how about me? These guests are going to say, how about me? How about me? I did a lot of... So I'm going to be very straightforward about that. My favorite guests are the ones who are really supported us a lot, sharing on their social media accounts their episode, because, it's not just about us. It's about them. It's about building their credibility or building their branding. Because if they're the ones who share their leadership, their insights, and whatever they have on their brains, and then they're not going to share it to the world on their social media accounts, and then it's like you're hindering your thoughts, you're hindering something else for the other people to know about you and to know about what you have. So I'm very about this. Sorry about that, guest.
I'm going to reflect on that a little bit. It's really powerful what you're saying. I'm going to start with who my favourites are without naming them as well, and then build on what you're saying. So my favourite guests are the ones that come with a clear message to share, ones that get us to stop, reflect and rethink something about leadership and give us a call to action, give us some really insightful tip that we can go and immediately put into practice in our leadership. So the very practical ones. What I'm hearing from you is then it doesn't stop just there at the interview. It's also helping support the show by telling people, hey, I was on this interview and here's the podcast, because that's where the multiplication impact comes. We're having these conversations because we believe that they're the conversations that need to be had. But if it only gets to a small circle of people, it doesn't have the impact. Whereas the network effect, and LinkedIn is perfect for this. I've got certain connections, you've got certain connections, then a guest comes in with their connections, and before you know it, we've got a sharing network where the conversation that needs to be had is getting into the ears that need to hear it. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, that's perfect, Mick. One thing that I'm thinking about is also, are these guests a little bit shy on sharing to their social media accounts, especially on their LinkedIn? Because if they're going to be shy, why do they do this podcast interview anyway? You wanted to share it to the other people, what are your thoughts are. But if you're gonna shy and you're having this fraud feeling or imposter syndrome, why? It's like, why you're not sharing it?
Yeah, it's interesting. Authors suffer from that as well. Like they'll write a book and they're too shy to tell their friends and their broader network that they wrote a book. But I can tell you that when you tell people that, you reach back to people that you haven't seen in 20 years and say, hey, I've published a book, they're usually really interested, proud. They're very happy to hear from you. There's nothing to be shy about in this regard. Our guests, we hand select them. They've got something interesting to share and they should be proud of that. Get past the imposter syndrome and start the conversation with people that need to hear the conversation. Really powerful say. I want to go to leadership lessons now. We've had many different thought leaders come onto the show. You've been on this journey with me for 3 years. You didn't know a lot about leadership before this journey. What's been your biggest learnings about leadership in that time?
Okay, I think my biggest lesson is to be on inclusivity, inclusive, and to be empowered on what you're sharing or what you're doing. I've been doing these inclusive things for the team anyway, and then empowering them on what they can do for us and for TLP. I think those are just the ones that I've learned about the leadership project.
Really good say. I mean, that's the heart of leadership, is that everyone wants to be seen, everyone wants to be heard, everyone wants to feel that they matter, and everyone wants to feel like they have some say or some control in their destiny. This is the heart of what we call Glass's choice theory, the freedom of choice and the freedom from oppression. When people do feel included, when they feel seen, when they feel heard, and then they feel empowered, that's when they go and do amazing things. So I love that you've picked that up. That's, to me, that is the root of leadership. There's all kinds of skills and techniques that you need to learn around that, but the heart of it is to help people feel seen, heard, and that they matter. How does that sit with you?
Okay. I'm also going to add something else about that. It's about learning so many skills for the leadership project. So I did lots of things already for us, for our team, doing these websites, doing digital marketing. It's about don't stop learning. So behind those postings on the leadership project, it's not just about you. It's not about our team as well. It's also about me. It's a collaborative learning with our team. Because that's the good about the leadership project. Asking them about what we can put in the leadership project. Because if it's just the two of us, there are moments that we're just gonna lack of, thoughts already. There are moments that we just don't have anything to share. So that's the thing as well with the leadership project. Sharing or asking them what we can do in the next few weeks or next few days.
Really good, Sei. I'm going to share back with you some of the important things I picked up there. First of all is the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. So you and the team, when you're faced with something you've never done before, a fixed mindset would say, oh, I don't know how to do it, and wouldn't even try. A growth mindset would be, I don't know how to do that yet, and I'm going to go and learn how to do it. And by learning, you build confidence, you build competence, and it turns into a virtuous cycle where all of a sudden you get better and better at that craft. The second part is that inclusive nature and the diversity of thought. To not imagine for a second the two of us have got the answer to every question. So asking the team, we bring a team together on purpose for a reason. What ideas do you have? What video would you like to see us do this week? What's the next thing that we should be trying when it comes to promoting the podcast, as an example? So that's really powerful around the diversity of thought. And then that then multiplies into one of my favourite quotes, and I have two favourite quotes that I bounce between, but is if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. And TLP is the perfect example of that. How does that sit with you?
That's perfect me. That's really awesome with that TLP. And then adding to that as well, what I've learned is I'm also learning from our experience, which is you've already told it just a few minutes ago. I'm learning so much with all of the experiences. It's like, okay, if it's not going to work, okay, it's fine. That's what's happening with us. And I really love learning from experiences as well with TLP and learning from you. Thank you for mentoring me and coaching me with TLP. That's one of the things that I'm going to be proud of. That how is it having a husband who is a coach, is a leader, so intelligent, smart?
Yeah, but don't forget, we learn from each other. Don't think that that's all one-sided. I learn from you every day as well, but thank you. But we learn from each other every day. I want to unpack that journey a little bit now, your personal journey. If I look at you over the last 3 years, you've gone from, I'm going to say, very smart, very charming person who didn't communicate much to the outside world to now being a thought leader on LinkedIn, in our chair B&I meetings, and you're an MC and you write these wonderful newsletters and blogs on leadership every week or every few weeks that people are really getting great joy from. Tell us about your personal transformation from, sorry to say it, shy, introverted, and there's no issue with being introverted, by the way, but you know what I'm saying? You're very withdrawn and within yourself to now being master communicator.
If we're going to do this podcast interview last year, I think I'm just going to say no because I can't communicate. My public speaking skills is not really good. You know that. And I just wanted to write something else that, okay, if this one is incorrect, I can just edit it, we'll write it again. But here, I'm speaking in front of you through this microphone. I don't know what's happening with me. It's like every time we're talking about something else, it's just going to blast on my mouth. I'm just going to speak in front of you. I think that's also one of the things I learned also on TLP, to share what's on my brain. I think one of the reasons I don't want other people to just say negative things about me, because I don't want to receive negative criticisms. if something, if people are going to listen to this one, oh my God, Sei is not really a good English speaker. Why she's been a guest to TLP or the Leadership Project podcast? And those are the things that I've been still thinking about the couple of days. I feel so anxious what I'm going to say, what I'm going to share. I only have a 3 years of leadership experience. And then my husband has a 30 years. Some of the guests has a couple of years of experience on their leadership. Their brains are just so good on picking up those questions, the way they talk to. And then I was like, oh me, how about me? I'm not really good.
But here you are. Here you are sharing, and you got people liking your posts. They're following you. They want to hear from you. So I am hearing, and I can see the emotion on your face right now. I am hearing a deep concern about what other people would think. And yet you've broken through that barrier. So posting on social media of any form and wondering about trolls, wondering about people that are going to make negative comments, but you've broken through that. And you're publishing, I think, every week right now, really insightful content that people are sharing and going, oh, thank you so much, Sei. You broke through that. You broke through that, and I'm proud of you. Tell me more about these negative thoughts. Sorry to go there for a bit. This limiting belief about what other people think of the content. Tell me more about how that impacts you.
So I'm very shy to write down some of my thoughts and post it on LinkedIn. But then I'm thinking about, if I'm not going to share those things on the other people, it's just going to limit me on what I can share with the other people. And then with these negative thoughts, negative things, I can accept the negative things from strangers because I can just delete it. But then if people around me, one of the closest friends or families are going to give me negative feedbacks or negative comments, it feels like, okay, I'm not going to think about that. But in the next few days or weeks, I'm going to think about that. Because what happened? Why do they say those things about me? And then I'm going to share with you that it's because of the community that I've grown up, that whatever you do really good, they're just going to say negative things about you. It's like for 100 or let's say 99% of the things that you did good, 1% of that, they're still going to share something else negative. That's very bad. And what I've realized with social media, everything, I've noticed that it's not just about my community or my world that I had before. Experiencing that, it's all around the world, lots of people, which is the good thing about that on social media. And everyone else was just saying, okay, Sei, it's not just about you experiencing those things. It's also about us. And then I said, yeah. And thank you for social media as well, because the moment that we posted something else and then sharing it, people will comment good things. So they say, thank you for sharing this. It's so amazing. So thank you for sharing something else for us, because it's about you and for us as well.
So there's a few things I want to pick up on there, Sei, and the last bit is really important. And that is, yes, you're going to have people out there saying negative comments. It does happen. It happens to high-profile celebrities through to people just sharing their thoughts on social media. You've got nearly 10,000 followers, and those followers have followers, and those followers' followers have followers. Like, it's a big network out there. And with those 10,000 followers, you're going to have 9,990 of them. They're going to be getting value for what you're sharing openly and vulnerably and authentically. And yes, you might have 10 people that might say negative comments, but why let those 10 negative comments get in the way of the other 9,990 that are getting value from the comment? That's the first thing I want to tell you. The second one is when someone makes a negative comment like that. Now, I'm talking negative comment. I'm talking trolls. I'm talking about cynical comments. I'm not talking about constructive criticism, because constructive criticism adds value to the conversation. It says, oh, that's really interesting. Say, have you thought about X? That's value adding. That's a yes and situation. Whereas the trolls and the ones that just say nasty comments, what I want to share with you is it speaks more about their character than it does yours. So why let 10 insecure people, because it's usually from insecurity, why let 10 insecure people upset your day when you've helped 9,990 others? That's what I want to share with you today. How does that sit with you?
Okay. I think it's also because of what I said before. It's the community that I grow up that, everything that you did good before, and there will still negative things, and it's going to impact you the way you grow up. That's very bad. And then I think what I've been doing right now is to, denying it. In denial of, okay, whatever you do, whatever you post on social media or comment to me, it's nothing else. It's nothing to me. Because what's important is the two of us and then our little boy Thomas. Those are the people that I'm thinking about.
There's a powerful lesson there as well around Stoicism, say. And this is in Stoicism, the heart of it is that not to worry about things that are not in our control, but to only focus on the things that are in our control. One of the things that is in your control is how you respond to a troll. What is not in your control is their behaviour. So you can't control their behaviour, you can only control how you respond to it. And that's what I see you doing these days. The other thing I want you to think about, and the audience, the psychology of this tells us that when you get these, say, nasty, insecure people that say nasty things, for them, they've forgotten about it 30 seconds later. The person that they hurt can carry it around for 7, 14, 21, 28 days. You're still thinking about it some way down the track. And in doing so, you're empowering them to impact your day. You're empowering them to have that impact on you mentally because you're carrying it around. So what is the best advice that you could give for anyone on this?
Oh my God. Because there are still some people around me, or even before, when they said something else negative, it's still on my mind. But I think it's to be surrounded by really good people and just the people around you, because I don't have much friends already. As in today, I only have few people around me that you're just going to count it into my fingers. Because through the journey, those people will just going to leave you. It's like, if they're going to stay, it's fine. If they're going to leave you, it's okay. So surround yourself with positive people. And then if they're not, just let them go.
Very good. Okay. So I'm going to remind you of something Ivan Meisner taught us when he was on the show. And that was to imagine that inner circle is a one-way door, that once someone is in your life, they're in your life. So surround yourself with people that are going to not attack you, that they're going to be positive, they're going to be constructive. I think there's something there. And those that aren't, let it go, let it go. I can't sing. Okay. So I want to circle back to the bit about confidence and about communication. So as mentioned, like 3 years ago, you were very shy in meetings, didn't speak up a lot. Now to the point where you run all of the TLP meetings, you chair B&I meetings, you come up with these amazing ideas for engaging questions at the start of meetings to get everyone, like icebreakers that really get everyone going. How did you do that? How did you go from zero to master of ceremonies?
Okay, I'm just going to make it as a joke. Like, I don't have any choice.
Necessity. All right. Necessity is sometimes the mother of innovation. So, yeah. Okay, go.
So, okay, the two things, it's the mindset shift and the skill set shift. I think it's because on my mindset, I really need to do something else for TLP and for this BNI. Because if I'm not going to do something else, nothing's going to happen. And then second one is the skills. It's like something's just happened to me, as in I've learned a lot every day or every week on doing these meetings. My confidence is getting too high. I've been doing lots of research on how can I possible do or gain more confidence. And I think because of the affirmations as well with the people around me that, oh, say you're such a really good on doing this. And we miss your voice or your laugh when you're not in the meeting. I really miss the learnings that you're putting onto our meetings. So those are the things.
Really good. I'm going to unpack two things there. I'll quickly talk about the mindset first. And what I saw in what you were saying, and I've seen it with my own eyes as well, is the focus on the needs of the audience. That it's not about you. It's about them. What do they need? You use the word necessity. So you saw a gap. You filled the gap, but you focused on the needs of the audience, not about you. The second then is the skill set and what we call in psychology the competence-confidence cycle. And this is where you start small and it goes well and you get a bit of confidence from it and you go again. And as you get more confident, you get more competent. As you get more competent, you get more confident, and it just keeps on building. Whereas if you're the type of person where the very first time you ever MC a meeting, it goes horribly, if you give up and have a fixed mindset and say, well, I'm just not good at chairing meetings and you never try again, you never get into the cycle. That's what I see. How does that sit with you?
That's very good, Mick. I think I'm going to add something else as well with this confidence things. Because if I'm going to be, just what I said before, I'm not going to be confident like this. I've just learned about this one. And on the back of my mind, because I'm an introvert, so I've been giving a lot of my energies and everything that I can put in the meeting. And after that, it's draining me. But because of that, so many people are putting something else with them. It's giving them additional confidence because they're going to think, say, I thought you're introvert. How do you possibly do that? Yes, I'm introvert. And I'm showing you that an introvert can also be a confident and can also show something else for you as well. If you're going to say, I'm very shy, I'm not going to be able to do this. VP, I can't do this anymore. I'm not a really good speaker. I'm very scared on speaking in English. Oh no, it's very fine. This is how you're going to do it. Practice every day. Practice on what you can do. Lots of practice. Anyway, I think I'm just very thankful that I've been doing this lots of meetings because if I'm not going to be able to be a communicator right now.
I love this Sei on two different levels. Let me unpack it a little. First of all is the assumptions that people make about people. So if you see someone commanding presence on stage, must be an extrovert. Or you see someone quietly introspective in the corner, must be an introvert. That's not the definition of extrovert and introvert. Introvert and extrovert is about how you gain energy. Do you gain energy from people or does it drain you when you're around big crowds of people and you need to recharge your batteries in other way? So the first one is to stop making assumptions about whether someone's an introvert or an extrovert. Simon Sinek is a well-regarded public speaker, keynote speaker. He's an introvert. He's mastered the craft. Doesn't mean that you can't do it and it's got nothing to do with introversion or extroversion. The second one is people that say, only extroverts make good leaders. Absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. And this is something I've got to work on as an extrovert, is to learn some of the craft of introversion because some of the same skills that you have for a leader are the things that introverts are good at. What are introverts good at? They're good at listening. They're good at deeply listening. They're good at understanding. What are the attributes of a leader? The ability to listen, to deeply listen, to connect with your staff, one-on-one. There's a lot of science that tells you that the very things that introverts are good at are leadership attributes. How do you feel about that?
Yes, that's correct, Mick. And that's one of the reasons why I really like Simon Sinek because I've learned from him. I learned that he's an introvert leader. That's the reason why I wrote about something else, that an introverted leader. And an additional ones, introvert leaders are one of the best leaders because it's not about just listening to the words, it's about the action. Because there are words that it feels like, okay, I'm just going to speak. But the mannerisms, I'm also looking at those people, the mannerism, the eye contact that they're doing. It's not just about listening to the words, it's about connection.
This is an interesting point, and that's around awareness, strengths, and I'll loosely say weaknesses, but I'll be careful with the way I say that. So the awareness, first of all, of what are your strengths so you can double down on those strengths. And there's a lot of science that tells you that doubling down on your strengths is actually even more important than addressing your weaknesses. But when you do have a weakness or something that you want to work on, it then takes intentional work to work on it. So for me, and let's compare you and I here for a moment, I had to intentionally work on deep listening. Because I'm an extrovert and I like to be the center of attention. I like to be the party. I like all of those things. I had to focus on deep connection and deep listening. You're an introvert. It didn't come naturally to you to do things like extemporaneous speaking, which I find the most natural thing in the world. You had to work on it. Simon Sinek had to work on it. And now look at you. So a lot of people say that you do need to double down on your strengths, but also selectively work on your weaknesses. How does that sit with you? Your thoughts?
Because an introvert person can't do everything anyway. So I need to write down my skills, write down what are my weakness, my strengths, everything. If these are my weakness, I'm going to try to work it out, make something else. But if not, it's fine. At least I've tried. But then, as what I said, there is a practice for doing those things. Anyway, being introvert, it's something on us that, we are very good on doing this listening, something else for us, etc.
So what I'm hearing there say is work on your weaknesses a little bit at a time. And if there's something that you're genuinely not good at, you can surround yourself with people that are good at that skill.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, very good. Now, I want to take us now to this thought leadership on LinkedIn. You are now a thought leader on LinkedIn. Have you got any tips for people that are listening to this who also are aspiring thought leaders on LinkedIn? How do they get going?
Okay. What happened to me a year back is I just posted something that it made viral, and then I've had this massive following already on LinkedIn. And then what happened to me that day? I just wanted to post something else, and that's it. What's happening to me in the past few days is if I do have something on my mind, reflect and write it down and post it on LinkedIn. I've not actually posting or doing something on social media calendar because it's not going to work. I've did that before. And then what my thoughts right now should be posted out of this moment today or tomorrow. It's like a past already. It's just going to be an opinion of what I've had before. I'm not going to feel the essence or authenticity if I'm just going to post it as scheduling on LinkedIn. So I really noticed it to me. So what you feel right now, that's it. Just post it on LinkedIn. Be authentic. Be authentic on what you can post on LinkedIn.
So that's the key word I'm hearing is around authenticity. But what I'm also picking up there, Sei, is that you're not one of these ones that's pre-scheduling a month worth of content on LinkedIn because then it's not authentic. It's not genuinely how you feel, think and do on that day. So, you might be setting some time aside to do LinkedIn tomorrow, for example, but you're not writing tomorrow's content until tomorrow, and you're sharing authentically what you're thinking, feeling, reacting to news of the world, other posts, etc. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, that's correct, Mick. Because I'm actually not really 100% good writer. I'm writing, but I don't feel that I'm really good. Because if I'm just going to post something else, make it very, very good, it feels like, the people will just going to think that, okay, she can write really good. How about speaking in front of the other people? That's the first thing that I'm just thinking about. And then the second one, if I'm just going to write to have a massive following, it's not going to be authentic already. It's just going to be something else that feels scripted when you are writing. And then what I felt about LinkedIn or any social media accounts, be authentic. And it's really good to be vulnerable at times that you don't have anything to write and then you just post something else.
So the two aspects there I'm hearing is the timeliness and then that it's not manipulative. I'm going to go the opposite now instead of going authentic. Instead of chasing vanity metrics of I'm going to post something today because it's going to get a big reaction, you're not doing that. You're posting things from the heart going, you know what, this really impacted me and this is what I think about it. So last week you did a wonderful post, a newsletter about gender pay inequality and it was from the heart. And guess what? It was topical because the WGEA put out their latest report last week. So it was timely, it was authentic and it was from the heart. So why do you think people are engaging so much to those posts?
I think it's because very timely. That's what they feel. Everyone else, it's the connection with the post. That's what I've been doing on LinkedIn. Many people think that LinkedIn is only, you can just post about business, about what you're doing on something else. Business is scripted, manipulative. But then if you're going to be very focused on what the people feel deep inside of them, you're going to have a connection with them. It's like the diversity of thoughts, diversity of leaders, the vulnerable of, okay, sorry about that, LinkedIn followers, I don't have anything to post here, but I posted something else. And then people said, oh, okay, say it's okay. Because we don't have anything to post as well the past couple of days. There are moments that it's going to feel it's okay to not be okay.
There's three things I'm picking up here that are really interesting for me. The first one is you're posting things, I'm going to say almost with a mindset of this is how I feel about this. And others might feel that way too, which is then the start of the relatability cycle. And then people are reading the post and going, oh, yeah, that's how I feel too. It's like almost like Sei knows me. She knows what I'm thinking. She knows what I'm feeling about these things. And that's wrapped in that timeliness matter. So it's got to be timely or it's already gone past people's recency memory, right? So it's gone if you don't get out there timely. So how do I feel about this? There's a good chance that others will feel about it. Then on the receiving end, others reading it going, yeah, that is how I feel. And all of a sudden you got connection. And then the third one is I'm hearing you say that you don't post just for the sake of posting. You don't go, oh, wow, I'm overdue to do a post. I better post something. Or I don't post something just to stimulate the vanity metrics we were talking about before. So if you got nothing to say that day, it's okay. Just don't say anything that day. Wait for the next day and then share how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're doing that day. How does that sit with you?
Okay, I'm just going to also have a correction about that. If it's on my personal LinkedIn account, putting vulnerability as well, or whatever I am going to feel. But of course, there are clients that I don't want to be like that. I still wanted to post something else based on our business. Okay, I can post something about that. There will be scheduling. But for my personal ones,
there's a difference between, let's say, the business post about, let's say, an element of digital marketing versus the thought leader vulnerability of this is what I'm thinking, feeling, doing today.
And then, when we were talking about posting on social media, I was like, how about posting something else about what you feel? So you can do, we'll never know what's going to happen with your following because all they see of you is being a leader on this field or you're getting this hindering you, blocking you. And then you feel like, oh, it's not yet time. And then post something else. Post something else, Mick. It's going to be good on you because it's the connection between you and the audience. It's not because I am a leader of this field. I am a leader of the leadership project. I needed to post something else about leadership, but not being a vulnerable or authentic. And, if you're doing something else like that, the audience going to feel, oh, Mick is also suffering on this, having these thoughts, having these things already. It's the connection.
So thank you. I want to bring us to a close now. I'm going to take us towards our rapid round. The things I want to reflect on so far in terms of what I say, first of all, congratulations on your journey and thank you. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I've learned a lot from you. We've learned a lot from each other. We've grown together. It's been an incredible journey. I can't wait to see where it goes next. Your personal journey as a leader in that time, the things that you've learned, the competence, confidence cycle that you've been through to become the person that you are today. And then on this thought leadership, this is my big takeaway today. Authentic, vulnerable, sharing how you think, feel and do when it comes to you, when it comes and being natural with that is what builds that relatable connection. I think that's a really powerful one for everyone to take away today. All right. So rapid round, you know these questions.
Yes.
You hear it every week. What's the one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you were 20?
Oh my God, I shouldn't be impulsive on my decisions because if you're gonna learn about me 20 years ago and when I was on 20s, I am a job hopper. I'm thinking about something else. Like I'm just gonna quit. I'm not gonna think about the next day. I'm not gonna think that if I'm gonna have a work tomorrow, I'm not thinking about that. The moment that I quit, that's it. I'm just gonna quit. Anyway, what I've learned on those years is to not be impulsive.
Okay, very good. So impulsive is one that we all fall into traps of at different times, and it's about not making permanent decisions based on a temporary emotion. On the job hopping thing, it's okay to change jobs from time to time. People don't, some do, but most don't stick at the same company for 30, 40, 50 years anymore. It is okay to change and grow and to take different opportunities, but not to quit at the first hurdle. Have a bad day, quit my job. Have a bad day, quit my job. That's not going to go well. And that's not how you build resilience and learn. So it's a great lesson to share with everyone. Well, thank you, Sei, and thank you for being so open about it.
Yeah, I'm going to add about that because in the Philippines, the traffic situation there, it's going to take you 1 to 2 hours to go to your job. And you feel so tired on doing those commutes. And then coming back, it's another 1 to 2 hours. And right now, the Philippines, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours of commute. And then second one, it's the salary. I started about 398 pesos. per day. And I wanted to grow on something. I can't live with 398 pesos. And right now, if you're going to live on that salary, it's not going to work. It's like 398 pesos. It's like a 12 Australian dollars. So those are the things. And then it feels like, that's the reason why I really love the leadership project. It's because you've been learning to be a really good leader. We do have this book. You're a leader now. What? I didn't learn to be a leader on that time. No one teach me how to be a leader that's supposed to do on that year.
There's two balancing things there I want to make sure that we double down on. And it is about, because I said, you need to start somewhere. You need to be resilient. You don't give up at the first hurdle. The one exception to that would be when you're in a workplace that you're undervalued or treated badly. That's not what I'm talking about. If you're in a workplace where you're undervalued and treated badly, yes, find the door. If that's not the case, if you're in a tolerable workplace and you've got lessons to learn, you're going to grow from it, stick around. That would be my takeaway there. All right. What's your favorite book?
Okay, I have my favorite book here. It's The Purpose-Driven Life. I gave you a copy of this one as well.
I don't know if I should be offended by this or not. For those that are listening to the audio podcast, for anyone watching on the video, you just saw that. For those that are on the audio podcast, I just asked Sei, what is your favorite book? And she has my book sitting in front of her. And underneath that book was Rick Warren's book. All right, tell me about Rick Warren's book. What's impactful for you?
So it's what on earth am I here for? What's your purpose on this world? It's like a guide from a Bible. So you need to do it every day, which we've already missed out. But I wanted to do it again with you in the next few days.
It is a great book. There is an element of spirituality and specific religion in there, to be clear. But the underlying message about finding your purpose is really powerful.
And especially if you have experiencing something else about your mental health and your spiritual thing, this one is really good. Just read this one. It's really good to do it with your partner. And if you don't have someone else, it's really fine.
In fact, the book says that. The book says you should do this with an accountability partner, whether it's your loving partner or another partner, you should do this with an accountability partner. All right, really good. Nice share. Not insulted at all. All right, what's your favorite quote?
Okay, my favorite quote is rejection is just a redirection for something else.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Sometimes we need to hear that. Sometimes things happen for a reason. We need to make the most of it. It takes intentional action to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented in front of us. But yeah, don't dwell on rejection. You can move forward. Okay, love it. And finally, Sei, there's going to be people that are hearing your voice for the first time. They've seen your work, but they're hearing your voice for the first time. If they want to know more about you, about your journey, about your lessons, how do they get in touch with you?
All right. Follow me on my LinkedIn account. It's Therese Sei Spiers. You can also look at me at Sei Spiers. And then you can also send me an email at sei@mickspiers.com.
All right, brilliant. Thank you, Sei. And as always, we'll put those links in the show notes as well. Thank you so much. I see you every day, so I can't say that it was a pleasure to see you today. It's a pleasure to see you every day, but it was such a pleasure that we finally sat down and had this conversation and shared it with the audience. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Mick, and thank you for my team on pushing this interview, because at first I don't want to. I just wanted to be at the back. It's like a back end or admin things of the leadership project. I don't want to be the face actually of TLP. I just want to support the people around me, especially you and the team. But here we are now. I'm speaking in front of the camera and this mic. Anyway, it's like setting something else, doing something else for me and the team and the TLP.
All right, brilliant. Thank you so much, Sei. Really great. Thank you for listening to the Leadership Project at mickspiers.com. A huge call out to Therese Sei for his video editing of all of our video content, and to all of the team at TLP. Joanne Goes On, Gerald Calabo, and my amazing wife, Sei Spiers. I could not do this show without you. Don't forget to subscribe to the Leadership Project YouTube channel, where we bring you interesting videos each and every week. And you can follow us on social, particularly on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, in the meantime, please do take care Look out for each other and join us on this journey as we learn together and lead together.